huge turnout today at the offices of billionaire leader and tech visionary Summer Smith.
This episode will have a lot of fun with phone charger puns, but Chargeria itself seems confused since this hole on this building seems to be an Ethernet port, and this building has 2 HDMI ports, none of which are typically used to charge cell phones.
We're ready to launch the device.
Pronoun gaming whatever the device is, as if a tech billionaire would be able to resist giving it a self-indulgent name like Summer Star, or Freedom Rocket, or Chargy McChargeface.
Do we have eyes on my brother?
No, ma'am.
Then we're not ready.
Then Summer should have set that expectation as part of the parameters for readiness, thus saving this lady a scolding and us some filler dialogue. Expecting me to believe a reminder of Jerry's existence would be any kind of motivation to return home. Whoever took this photograph but then decided to Photoshop any details out of it.
Morty, it is time to go. It's almost 9 p.m. back in the real world, and our exit will only work if Mom's in the kitchen pouring her bedtime wine.
Never mind why Summer has wasted so much time talking with her assistant and talking to Morty about chili, and never mind how it's possible for Summer to know what time it is in the world outside of this matrix. And never mind that this would mean Beth pours her wine at exactly the same time every day without fail. Oh, I guess I won't be never minding that after all.
Dear God, Summer Smith has made phone chargers obsolete!
Summer's about to launch a device that provides 100% wireless charging, but I'm confused about the makeup of this spectating crowd. These two people over here seem to be protesting against the idea of wireless charging, while these two people are holding up posters that would seem to be in support of Summer. These opposing sides should have devolved into an all-out brawl before you can say unhealthy polarization of society.
A contactless electrical grid! That means no chargers, you old bitch! I win! The Matrix is obsolete!
Summer sure is fortunate that Rick programmed this discount inner light matrix in a way that means it can be beaten.
Mom! Mommy! Get away from me, Rick! Mom! Rick put us in a simulated reality.
The time crunch to get back wasn't nearly as crucial as we were led to believe, considering Summer's screams could have been heard all over the house and she had plenty of opportunity to keep running.
I'm an emancipated adult. I demand sovereignty over my mind and future. Don't let him reset us!
But how did she know for certain that Rick was going to reset them? Did he take the time to explain his plan before shoving them in the Matrix? That kind of shit's all over their punishment if they know they won't remember any of it. Also, if Summer knew this was a Matrix the whole time, why didn't she just enjoy it? She knows that only minutes are passing in the real world, so she could have just had 2 decades of doing whatever the she wants, knowing that any regrets or mistakes will be erased on her exit. I'm not saying I want to be put in a Matrix, but I'd sure have some fun if I did.
You built a Matrix to punish them for a phone charger?
Saying this to Rick C. Reddit for all the up he's done because there's too much for me to list here. Sanchez with even 0.001% amount of surprise in your tone.
I fell in love, ran a country, visited Chargentina and the Philippines.
Instead of getting hung up on all the puns in this episode and calling out everyone individually, I'll just phone it in and charge the episode with 10 sins. Also, showing favoritism by missing out on the following countries from your world tour: Phoneland, Cabo Verde, Chargerica, the United Ringdom, Chargerbaijan?
There's literally no limit to what I can achieve.
There literally is.
Cold much?
You're nipping out.
I was going to say something about how the other girls would be just as cold as Summer, but I don't see the points.
A third mimosa?
On a Wednesday afternoon?
Who are we?
Maybe a better question is, what restaurant is serving 3 mimosas to a 17-year-old on a Wednesday afternoon?
I love this version of you.
Unironically saying this to your offspring.
Isn't comedy just the revelation of an unacknowledged truth?
That's not what Yo Mama said.
This is that death race on Vega 5, right? Space and land?
Yeah, actually.
Toss me a beer. Think we should add a snorkel intake to the engine block.
Except you don't need a snorkel intake on land, and it definitely won't do any good in space where, rumor has it, there is an absence of breathable air.
Any charger you still can and will be used against you.
Making me imagine how a charger would be used against someone. It takes 5 firefighters to put out this tiny fire, and not one of them knows that you don't use water to put out electrical fires. It's extremely narratively convenient that stealing a charger, the most holy of items in this society, doesn't preclude Morty from being allowed to join the army.
If you're remembering a bunch of stuff, you have to say it out loud.
No, because then we'd have to live through that montage and hear Morty tell us what we just saw. If you keep observing tropes, Rick, I'm going to put you in a matrix where none of these cliches exist and you can live the most boring and unentertaining life imaginable. Wait.
My job is to invest in your college fund, Summer.
First of all, I already graduated charger cum laude.
But she does know that the fake degree she got in the fake universe is essentially worthless compared to a degree out here, right? Well, I mean, more worthless.
Life is slipping away. It's time to make some big changes or get comfortable with some big regrets.
Beth has been married to Jerry for 17 years. think she's already comfortable with big regrets. Nothing in this hardware store appears to be priced, and that is f***ing infuriating.
Wow, you guys are really spreading out onto the lawn, huh?
Being more concerned about the space being consumed than the deadly Deathmobile consuming it. The senseless death of 8-Ball could probably have been avoided if, instead of staring in shock, Morty would have just reached down and unplugged the mine's power cable. The maddeningly chaotic way in which these outlets are being used. Honestly, this should be the one universe where I shouldn't have to nitpick this shit.
I can't die!
Morty comes back to life after dying, but why aren't his clothes repaired as well? On the other hand, why don't they deteriorate more and more as he dies again and again? Also, not calling this episode Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Remort.
Did you just hotwire that car?
Being surprised by this when you know she spent 17 years in a Matrix doing science and
Damn, that got out of hand fast. Well, I told her it would.
When you consider that members of this family have, at various times, visited an amusement park inside a homeless guy, buried their own dead bodies, and turned into sentient pickles, Summer stealing a car and calling Beth a boomer is light years away from being out of hand.
Had to use a little something we called the Reg Rock. Try her out.
Charger spelled backwards. Cute.
Being so proud of a charging witticism that you had to explain it and let us know how witty you are.
Cool tank.
I like to believe this guy is a distant relative of that cop that James Bond 100% murdered in Tomorrow Never Dies, but the editing insisted survived.
No.
No.
The seemingly unstoppable and pretty cool-looking vehicle is now heading towards a power plant.
If all you're throwing at it is a concrete barrier and two cops with handguns, it's less that the tank is seemingly unstoppable and more that you're seemingly not trying. Also, if Morty's plan was just to drive through that mile-long fence to the right of the road, why bother smashing the barrier at all?
That's called community. And if we had more of it in this world and less factory-farmed beef, our little boys wouldn't be driving tanks into nuclear power plants.
Wow. The septuagenarian just shared highly specific information to the one person who can fix said problem. Good job these woo-woo spiritual people are so connected to their phones.
Oh, God, I have to stop him.
You know how?
I'm a tech CEO, so even if I don't, I'll pretend I do.
But also, too soon. Too soon.
Fear not, guard number 2.
Calling your child number 2.
The moat was installed for this exact scenario. There's not a tank on Earth that can cross that water.
But how about a boat? Or a plane? Or a missile? Between this mode and that just 2 guards in a concrete barrier situation at the front gate, I'm starting to think the designers of Power Plant Valley's defenses were taking tips from Galen Urso.
I knew we'd win it because we had you. An ex-con with no future, no family, no way to die.
Yeah, it's really just that last bit that's important, though. Also, when did Summer find out that neither of them could die? Because Morty only found out when it happened, and that was after he joined the army. None of that explains why she abandoned Morty in the build-up to him joining the army.
Rick, he would have woken up and let us out.
On whose terms? He would have wiped us clean before our eyes were open.
Would he, though? If he'd wiped their memories entirely, Summer and Morty wouldn't have learned their lesson about borrowing cell phone chargers. And since they're only in there for a matter of minutes, there would literally be no lasting impact. And there are easier ways for Rick to get some peace and quiet for nap time.
I was just saying not to steal such dangerous technology. Your grandpa's obviously a genius.
See?
That's an actual guy, making several obvious and valid statements.
But how do the people at this power plant know that the technology was Rick's? The show has the tendency to incept so much that even I was convinced Summer and Morty were still in a Matrix. And even though that's the whole point of writing the scene this way, it still gets us in.
That's anti-radiation gel. Your and bits will thank me later.
Rick doesn't spray his own and bits because he enjoys the pain of severe radiation burns. Here's a preemptive sin for all the future frame-by-framing I'm gonna have to do to make sure they animate this f***ing tattoo every time they show Morty's arm.
I'm gonna remember him,
You won't.
but I'm gonna miss you.
You won't.
I have a feeling things are gonna be different now.
They won't.
The first thing your peers will try to take from you is your adult empathy. It's your greatest gift and the one thing
Send a
they-
text.
Summer stealing my Skip Thunder. By the way, did you know Skip Thunder happens about a second per mile after the Skip Lightning? Fun fact. Namaste Fo Seva.
It's charging! Charging in the air!
Can you hear me now? Good.
How can you trust a man that wears both a belt and suspenders? Man can't even trust his own pants.
I can't die!
I am in a world of
Your precious armory, gratefully accepted.
Time to go mobile.
You wouldn't be putting people in matrices, would you?
What?
Because that's something you should never do.
Christopher James Motorola, charging first class.
Why did you say that name?